We got some breaking news on today's edition of Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Jordan Addison was arrested again, this time being in Florida, specifically Tampa Bay, Florida, last night on January 12th. Now, on today's show, we're not going to speculate too much. We're going to dive into everything we are hearing and talk about how this could impact his future with the Minnesota Vikings. But Kevin O'Connell was talking to the media pretty much around 30 minutes before this story broke. It was actually a Heavy.com article that dropped this latest reporting on Jordan Addison, but Kevin O'Connell, he acknowledged that they are aware of Jordan Addison's arrest for misdemeanor trespassing in Florida, but he did say it's too early to speculate or comment on. So they're aware of this situation. Obviously, this is not good. We know the history with Jordan Addison, but what started this was a Heavy.com article being dropped about an hour ago, saying according to court documents obtained by Heavy.com, Addison was arrested by Seminole Indian Police at 3:46 a.m. on January 12th. He was charged with a first-degree misdemeanor for trespassing in an occupied structure or convenience. A source told Heavy that Addison was arrested at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, located 12 miles from the Tampa Bay International Airport. He was released from custody at 2:40 p.m. on Monday after posting bail for a $500 cash bond, according to the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. Now, obviously, this is not good for Jordan Addison. This was the mugshot that was taken and released. And, if I had to assume, and again, don't want to assume too much, so just kind of let's walk ourselves through this. If he was at a casino that late at night, I'm guessing that the casino asked Jordan Addison to leave. He maybe refused, gotten a little bit of an altercation, and then they charged him with a first-degree trespassing charge. Now, obviously, this is not a good look for Jordan Addison. And if this was a one-off situation where this was the first kind of off-field issue Jordan Addison has had, yes, it would be a deal, but it would not be as big of a deal because of his history. I mean, we can go back to his rookie year when he was found speeding, going 140 miles per hour his first year with the Minnesota Vikings. Then obviously we know what happened last offseason, July 2024, when he was arrested on suspicion of a DUI. He ended up pleading guilty to that, and that caused him to miss the first 3 games of the season. And now the recent incident of him being arrested at Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, this time January 2026. So obviously this comes down to now, what do the Vikings do? Because I am sure, especially with this ownership group, knowing what we know about them, the Wilfs are, very huge on the image of this football team and how these guys conduct themselves. And with Addison, just offseason after offseason after offseason, having a lapse in judgment, not making the best decisions. This leaves the Vikings in a tricky situation, especially if we have a guy like Jalen Nailor who is supposed to hit free agency this summer or this spring. What do they do with him? Do they want to have Jalen Nailor walk out the door, and then maybe if Addison gets suspended again, that could leave the Vikings wide receiver room looking very thin? And there's no doubt the talent is there with Addison, but it comes down to, does the talent outweigh the off-the-field nonsense? This guy was amazing in his rookie year, over 900 yards, 10 touchdowns. In 2024, 875 yards, 9 touchdowns then. And then even this past year, with being suspended 3 games with some of the worst quarterback play in the league, he was still productive. 610 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also had that 75-yard house call on Christmas against the Detroit Lions. And I think this leaves up the possibility that the Vikings just flat out cut him, which would be a huge disaster because you're not going to be able to, obviously get a draft pick for trading him. But I just think where this ownership group's at and how they normally handle situations, and with this, again, being another offseason incident where Jordan Addison is not making the best decisions off the field, I do think it leaves the door open for possibly the Vikings just flat out cutting Jordan Addison, and maybe they go look to another direction at the wide receiver room. But I'll ask you guys this. I'm sure a lot of you guys will have a lot of thoughts. Again, we were just speculating on this. There's nothing for sure certain besides the fact that he was arrested yet again. You guys let me know. Do the Vikings cut Jordan Addison? Give me a C for cut. Give me K for keep. You guys let me know your thoughts down below. Now, this wasn't an off the field or off season incident, but you also remember in London when Jordan Addison was suspended for the first quarter, we were all kind of looking around. I remember on our watch party, we were like, man, where's number 3 at? Why isn't Jordan Addison on the field? Well, apparently he was missing a walkthrough and the Vikings just couldn't find him. So it just seems like over and over again, he's a young kid making bad decisions. And what is also so concerning about this is like, in the Vikings wide receiver room, you have good role models. Like Justin Jefferson is a class act on and off the field, and I'm sure he's hanging around Addison a lot, and they have always shown support for Addison. I'm assuming his teammates will continue to do just that, but then that leaves the question, like, do you want to let Jalen Naylor walk out the door? Do you just want him to, go sign with another team and take another body out of this wide receiver room? I'm sure they're looking at a guy like Ty Felton where it's saying, hey, we spent a third-round pick on you. We're going to need you to step up if he does get suspended. And, this is just inexcusable for Jordan Addison. I'm not getting up on here and saying, oh, I've never made mistakes in my life. We all have, watching this show. But, this is just inexcusable for him. And I honestly kind of feel for him. Like, clearly he has some problems going on, maybe in his personal life. And just this situation that Jordan Addison, again, puts himself in is leaving the Vikings in a very challenging spot. Like, what do they do? Do they just kind of sweep this under the rug again for a third straight offseason? Let this play out. Maybe the NFL will get even more involved because, again, the NFL, they're so big on image because they want the best image that they can when they're trying to get new TV contracts, when they're trying to get new endorsements. They don't want one of their best players in the league, which Jordan Addison is, when he is out there on the football field getting arrested every single offseason. So I'm assuming Jordan Addison was at that casino late at night. Maybe he wasn't having a good night on the tables. They asked him to leave. Maybe he refused, saying, hey, why am I not allowed to be there? Maybe he got in a couple altercations with maybe some of the security there. The police got involved, and then he was charged with a first-degree misdemeanor or trespassing. So I am, obviously concerned about this from Jordan Addison's perspective. Clearly he's got something going on. And, he posted a $500 cash bond. So, again, a first-degree misdemeanor is not like the worst thing in the world you can do. And if this, like I was saying, if this was just a one-off situation, I don't even know if this would be, a video we're making right now. It would probably just be a quick note in another video. But this is concerning for the Vikings because now with the situation they're in, do you just flat out cut him? Do you just say to yourself, like, hey, we can't have this going on. We need to go get just somebody to replace him because they can't deal with the off-the-field nonsense that Jordan Addison, again, puts himself in that position. So once we get an update on this, we'll have a video for you guys ASAP. So please hit that subscribe button today. No matter what the time is, no matter where we're at, what we're doing, we'll have a video for you guys ASAP and also help us reach our next milestone of 69,000 subscribers. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, the offseason is underway here in Minnesota, and it's another offseason with some Jordan Addison updates. So we'll keep you guys posted with it all. Appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. As always, Skol Vikes.